What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Gung-Fu Super Bros podcast, the #1 podcast for Kung Fu, martial arts, and pop culture. My name is not Ivan.
No.
Enrique, say what's up to them.
What's up, everyone?
Super producer Stevens.
Hello.
And as you can see, Orozco is not here today. So it's been a while since we've gotten together, but
I feel like a virgin.
whoa,
Yeah, it's been a few weeks.
I mean, touch for the very first time.
You'll get back into it.
Go easy on me.
All right. So, what episode is this?
This is episode 80.
80. Man, we've been doing this that long?
80. I know. It's been a long time, huh?
It truly has.
It's taken 80 episodes for us to do one without Orozco.
Yeah.
Yes. So, Orozco is distraught because of all the comments from RRR. You guys, we heard you. You said he was too noisy and he talked all over us.
So he's not here.
So
Guess what? He's not here anymore. a lot of crosstalk, guys. A lot of crosstalk. I'm gonna do my best to not do any voices because I don't want to get canceled. So, Super Producer Stevens, you and some other jerk. I'm pointing at myself. People on audio.
Not watching that. Yeah.
Yes, not watching us on YouTube. We just got back from Knott's Scary Farm.
We did.
Earlier in the month, we got to go to Universal Studios Hollywood Horror Nights. And Stevens, what did you think of Knott's Scary Farm? It was my first time there. You've been there before.
It was your first? You've never been to Knott's Scary Farm?
No, because it's just further away.
And because you always do Universal?
Yeah, I love me some Universal.
Yeah, I can see that, I guess.
Have you been?
No. I mean, I went to Knott's for the very first time earlier this year.
Oh, that's true. I suppose that's true.
Yeah.
Interesting. This was my first haunt when I was, I don't know, like 15, 16. A group of friends and I went to Knott's Scary Farm, and boy, did it scare the pants off me. I was one of the kids that run around at those scary mazes and stuff way back in the day. Now I go, and life has changed so much that I'm more interested in the story of the maze and the decor and the setting and how you feel going through. And like the scares are still good, but it has certainly changed, in the last 30 whatever years since I've been. But I enjoyed it. I thought they have to step up their game because they don't really have a lot of IP to produce, right? Like they're not giving me a movie.
Right, so it's just like random, just scary,
so they're creating
stuff,
their own houses, their own stories, and I was impressed. There was a lot of really cool things there. It was fun.
So is it the same kind of setup where it's just like mazes?
No. This is the cool part. It's not the same predictable Universal Studios maze, right? So if I go into the weekend maze, I am going to go into one big room, sets up the story, and then there's going to be a hallway. Mm-hmm. And at the end of the hallway, there's something. So either there's a window opens up or something scares you.
Something jumps out at you.
Yeah, no, these are very inventive mazes. They have 2 new mazes this year at Knott's Scary Farm. The first one is a vampire maze. Okay. It's not just any vampire maze. They hand you laser tag guns.
Okay.
And so the monsters have laser tag sensors.
I'm intrigued.
And so the story is there are daywalker vampires and there's evil vampires. And at this point, I'm like, am I on the right side of vampire history? So you go in and it's this very impressive set because they keep their mazes up for 3-4 years. So each year they add something new and they keep tweaking with the setup. And so this thing, they hand you the guns. They're like, all right, guys, we got to save the world, blah, blah, blah. And you go into the cemetery and there are monsters literally on bungee cords just jumping down.
It's cool. They do have those, not in every house, but it is more there.
But it's there. Yeah. The fact that something like that.
Yeah. Oh, and it's creepy if you don't see them. And especially the first time, if you don't know it's coming, that's probably the best scare that they might have.
That's kind of cool though. It's like an interactive. You become part of the show in a way.
It is.
Yeah.
So
that's cool.
at one point, you have to duck because you go into a crypt, and so if you shoot certain things, blood spurts on you. So it's just water, but blood will spurt on you. There's moments where you upgrade your guns. So you go into a bar and like, all right, guys, you guys have been doing really good, but we're going to go and see the weapons guy, the weaponsmith, and he is going to hook it up. And so you go to the next room. He's like, yeah, all right, guys, we're going to hook. And they're all British for some reason, or faux British.
So how many of you are going into this at each area at a time?
25 maybe.
So it's a big room.
So it's a big group, but or is it?
It might have been about 20 maybe.
About 20 people.
So because it was
you're
like
going
10
from
and
room
10
to
on
room?
each side. Yeah, it becomes maze-like though.
Okay.
So like you go into the first room together, so it's 20 there. Then they're like, okay, you got to go get your guns. And you kind of split up there to get your guns so they get it out faster. And then you kind of go in a hallway and they're like, all right, you ready, go. And then you kind of go through a maze and then you end up in a room together again at some point.
Yeah.
And then you go through a maze and you end up in a room
Is it
together.
in a building?
It's in their warehouses.
That one?
Yeah, so it's
Was
like
that one? Oh, yeah, that one
starts. Some start outside, and then you go inside. So it's really really neat. At the end, so there's a king of the vampires, and they're like, all right, he's trapped in a church, and they're like, shoot the windows, and so there's sensors, and so where you shoot, it creates a little shaft of light, so it hits the vampire, and he's like, no, burning up, and it's really this weird experience. But I will tell you though, you're either focused on the gun part or you're too busy looking at what's going on. And so that makes it a little more difficult, especially when it's a new maze. Like 20 minutes after opening, this maze was already at 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they also, that's the one maze where I also felt rushed.
Okay.
Because there's the pressure of come on, right? Like you got to go do this thing. So I did feel that's the only one where I felt rushed. Whereas in Universal, I feel rushed all the time. They're always like, come on. And all the other houses there, I didn't really sense that.
No. And I will tell you though,
like you
Not
walk
Scary
through,
Farm was very pricey. When we first got there, we didn't have the fast pass. And I'm like, you know what? First of all, Steven's got us into the buffet, which is, it's kind of like, at Disneyland when you get those like Goofy's Kitchen or the Princess. It's that
character
but with
dining.
the characters.
Yeah.
But they're in character. And they're like, what are you eating, boy? And just these monsters are yelling at you like, oh, have you tried the empanadas? They're really, really good. All right, I got to go murder someone. Excuse me.
But it got us into, so the reason I did that is because it got us in a half hour early.
Okay.
So we were able to go, there's one area of the park by Ghost Rider on that, to the left of Ghost Town.
They open up the back. So everything's in the back. So they open up that giant
and there's
gate.
4 mazes back there. So we were able to hit pretty much all of them before the official opening, which was kind of nice. So we did a couple twice back there.
If you had to just pick one or the other, you could only go to one.
I like Universal because of the IP. Like I love being inside the movie.
And they try to change it every year, right?
And this thing is, dude, this thing was charming. Like it's like, hey guys, we're gonna put on this maze and we're making all these things. The other new one was kind of Stranger Things inspired.
Okay.
And you've never been there in that, but they have like this Native American show that uses a Pepper's Ghost. So things show up like ghosts, like spirits. And so they made it inside that, and then you kind of go outside. And so the whole thing is that you're in the woods, and there's these kids, and they read from this book, the Grimoire. And a little girl gets possessed, and then they yell at you. They're like, guys, we got to go inside the tent. Go inside the tent. And you go inside the tent. Well, upon reading the book, she opens up these gates to the past. And so then you go through there, and you are in the Wild West. And because it's the past, everything is in black and white.
Oh, that's good.
So the only thing that you can see of color is red. Mm-hmm. So that's how you kind of know where to navigate. And so then someone in the Wild West reads the book, boom, you're transported to World War I, and you are in the trenches. And you hear machine gun all around you. And they're like, all right, we got to go. And so then these monsters start appearing. And then boom, someone reads from the book, and now you are in the 50s. And it's this creepy household. And they're like, hey, everybody, we're going to eat. Let's sit down for dinner. And then we read from the book and murder you.
Yeah.
And then you wind up, they're like, go through the fridge. And so you open up the fridge and you walk through it. And then you're back in the 80s where this takes place. And you see what happened to the kids. And you see that the monsters of the people that read the book have become these monsters, and they've come back with you through these portals. And so it's pretty interesting. They're really long mazes too.
They are long.
Yeah, like Universal, like boom, 3 minutes, I'm done. This is like 7-8 minutes, depending on how quick or how many people are going through there. Mm-hmm. And they pace you pretty well. There's not, like the problem with when we went to the weekend house at Universal was that there's these kids pushing on you, or there's like, there's people rearing back. None of that.
You have space here.
Yeah.
You're not rushed.
And then,
I mean, there's an urgency to get through. You can't just stand around, but they're not like, come on.
Yeah. Which is, I think the scariest thing in all these mazes are the people that work there, because they're just standing there.
The ones in the black cloaks.
I know. Yeah. Those are, they don't mean to be. And it's like, whoa, what the hell?
Keep going.
Because you turn a corner and you're like,
who the hell are you? What kind of monster are you? Yeah, dude. So that was pretty interesting.
The crowds are pretty.
Crowds.
It's crowded.
Crowds are back, dude. In theme parks, the crowds are back.
Yeah.
People have kind of moved on.
Yeah, for sure.
A year ago, we were like, oh yeah, it was very limited.
I was just curious with Knott's how but I imagine with a seasonal thing like this, it's the crowds go out.
I think these are probably like their busiest nights and stuff.
And to be honest, so next year is the 50th year. Not only is Knott's the first theme park, it is also the first theme park to
do haunts.
A haunt.
Yeah.
And so you got there's fog everywhere. You go through their haunt, the Wild West town.
Their scare zones are more scary. Well, they're what they intend them to be. Because there's some that aren't really scary, but they're creepy and you can interact with people and stuff.
And so they have like people all around the park.
In the back are clowns. In the front, like everybody in the town got cursed by the witch, and now they are ghosts and goblins and ghouls and werewolves.
That's cool.
There are over at
There's
Camp
the
Snoopy.
Roaring 20s thing.
Yeah. And so there's like little news guys and tough mobsters and like, hey, what are you looking at?
It's prohibition time, so they're always trying to like sell you alcohol and smoking and stuff. Yeah.
Repent. And then there's like all of a sudden they're like, hey, here's a jazz show with flappers, and they're like, this is really cool.
Yeah.
And then they have an art show, so I'm trying to get into the next art show, hopefully Christmas or the next Halloween.
Do you think there's this many, like, there's got to be, I imagine there is, right? It's LA. But do you think anyone double dips to working?
Some of those characters?
Yeah.
Possibly, depending on where they're at. I think the weekends approach, like this weekend, next weekend, the last 2 of the month or whatever, I think you kind of got to choose. I don't know if you could do both. Because sadly, like with mazes, the hours are the same, right? It's pretty much from dark till midnight or whatever. It's
from dusk till dawn.
Yeah, unless they don't work every day.
Yeah.
And they want to just...
So unless, I'm Saturday here, but Friday's here maybe. Or I'm assuming some do. Why not?
Maybe.
If they get the work,
Yeah.
If you really, truly like it. I know that a lot of the Knott's people come back every year.
Yeah, they're loyal.
They're very loyal to the park, and they come from all sorts of different jobs. They're just like, hey, I love Halloween. I love scaring people. I love having metal fingertips and knee pads and just sliding across the floor, scaring some kids.
Yeah, their big scare stuff when I was younger was the sliders. They still have sliders, which are all scary as get out because they can pop out of nowhere sometimes.
But they are like the control they have over the slides and over their bodies is amazing.
Yeah.
And they will hide. Like we saw one that hid underneath
like
a wagon.
Yeah, a wagon.
And then they're just waiting. And we're like, oh, so he's going to hit somebody. He's going to hit somebody. And just slides across and just pops up. Woo!
That's cool. That's something that I wish Universal would do better.
Yeah, the scare zones at Universal this year were almost non-existent here.
Well, yeah, especially this year. But even in the past, It's just the chainsaws.
But
It's just
you
that's
know
just
what it
they
is?
try
It's
to
too
scare you
small.
with.
Because we've done the Orlando one, and the Orlando is more,
true.
it's larger and more spread out.
That's
and
true.
there are more dedicated scare zones, and they do the fog and then they'll come out. They don't
Yeah.
have, I don't feel they have sliders. They have the silt walkers.
Yeah, they do a lot of stuff.
But overall, I really enjoyed it.
I did
Dude,
too.
I love me some Halloween. I love me some scary movies. I love
My wife
making
does
costumes.
too.
Dude,
My wife
yeah.
does too. I'm ready for Christmas, to be honest.
Oh,
but-
no.
You can't move past it, Enrique. Give me this holiday.
But I hear that you did some homework, Enrique. What
I
did
did.
you watch, or what have you continued to watch?
Stevens has been on my ass about watching Stephen King's movies, and I'm just like, Stevens. No, I watched Cujo, and then I watched Pet Sematary first.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
So I watched that
Okay.
first, and then I watched Cujo.
All right. Talk us through it. Pet Cemetery. You got Gage.
it's
Pest-
better.
So we were kind of talking about this a little bit before we started this. Stephen King does this thing that I don't appreciate, where he tells a very good story and you're enjoying it. It's like, okay, this is interesting. I'm enjoying this. And, going off the movies, I imagine the books, can be the same. And then at the very end, just the way he ends his stories, it's just cruel. It's just not cool. I hate it. And this is bad timing. It's kind of crazy that I'm watching all his stuff right now, like all his movies, because they all have kids.
Yeah.
A lot of them.
Yeah.
And I have a son about the same age usually that the kid is in these movies and the stories. And it just kind of hits me in a different kind of way. And
Yeah.
so the kid in Cujo that's just so, oh gosh.
The car is so hard, right?
Yeah, dude. Like when that stuff started happening to the
Yeah.
kid, and I'm like, oh, what the heck is this really happening? Like,
Yeah.
what the heck?
Yeah.
It's scary.
Pet Cemetery was cool, but I like Cujo a lot better.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
Dude,
I love Cujo.
And I didn't realize it. I've seen some pictures since, but like I was really impressed with the dog, like the way everything was shot, like all the shots with the dog and like him attacking the car and all that.
See, I don't feel that way.
Really?
Because to me,
Why?
Because they add the noise of the dog, right? But to me, it seems like a very playful dog that's going like, whoa, oh, oh.
That's interesting because for me, he's just like almost exhausted, but he can't help but try to get to him. I don't know. It's weird, but I can kind of see what you're saying. I just really enjoyed the look of it all.
Barca, you've seen a behind the scenes thing?
Yeah, it really is the dog.
Because they're playing with him, right? Like that's how they train him to
Yeah.
get him to do is to play. But I haven't seen a lot of behind the scenes. So
And
now
they're
that's
like-
why I'm wondering.
and they're
So
like,
now
all right,
you
get
can't
mean,
watch it the same anymore.
Get
You've
mean,
been
get mean. He's like,
spoiled.
whoa.
and I totally thought it was a different type of dog also.
Oh,
No,
what
you
type of
might-
dog did you think it
you
was?
might-
I thought it was like a German Shepherd or something.
Oh no, I thought you were gonna say you thought it was a Rottweiler.
No.
Because there's a movie called Man's Best Friend
Yeah, which
about
is
a kind of a possessed demonic dog.
No, I was completely thrown off by the type of dog because then I thought Beethoven, those movies are so funny now. They're like, I'm like, oh, so they completely turn the table on
Yeah,
this breed,
yeah.
this breed of dog because they're probably like,
Well, it's rabies, man.
yeah,
You know,
Rabies,
I know,
rabies
yeah.
will fuck something up.
yeah. So it was cool. I enjoyed it. I just thought the dog, everything looked really good with him. Was there a dude, like a guy in a suit at some point in the
There might
movie?
be. There might be
I thought I
just
saw pictures.
for a different we need the shot of the dog doing this
Yeah,
because he's really limited to that. But what I like about this movie is that it's built in a way it shouldn't be an expensive movie because it's
just a
it's
dog.
not a lot of sense. It's a dog. It's Danny
It's a car.
Tintaro. It's E.T.'s mom or the mom from E.T.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't I recognize her? The hair? Because she has super short hair in this.
Yeah, she does have super short hair.
Yeah, so it's
all for me. It's all the crying and the panic in the car.
Yeah,
I was like,
dude.
what else do I do? This fucking car doesn't start.
and it's-
Everyone inside is dead, and this dog is relentless. Like, and I need to help my son, and what do I do?
That was so hard.
Like it's yeah.
Fuck you,
don't let
Stephen
it
King.
go.
It was.
And
it
Pet
was,
Cemetery though, were you surprised at the beginning of what happened and then where it went, or did you had you heard about it beforehand?
I thought
What did
Pet
you know?
Cemetery was what I had made up in my mind because I had never seen a trailer. I had never seen anything.
Oh, okay.
So what I had made up in my mind was just a cemetery of dead animals that come to life. I don't know. And
Okay.
That's
So
kinda-
different. So a little
so
different.
it was different. So
Yeah.
it was not what I was expecting.
Did you
but I
watch
kinda enjoyed
Did
that.
you watch the original one or the new one?
The original one.
Oh, okay, good.
Yes.
I just wanted to make sure we were talking
no,
about the
no, I
same
wouldn't-
movie.
Yeah, I wouldn't watch anything or remake
The
of it.
new one,
Yeah,
yeah.
I watched the original. It was cool. It wasn't. I didn't really like the whole going to that cemetery. If you bury them there and they come back,
Mhm.
like I guess it's cool, but that part of it, just because I was expecting something completely different,
Mhm.
and then they do it with the kid. So okay, so my question now is, when did Child's Play come out? When did Chucky come out?
That was
80.
89, 87.
Was that after this?
Oh.
Yes, but I believe the book was out.
Child's Play is 88. Pet Cemetery book was out, but let me see.
'Cause they-
89.
Because
So-
they totally got Chucky from this, right?
Well, if it's 88 and 89, they might be filming similar time.
It was crazy how like that's Chucky.
That little Gage is Chucky.
Gage is, yeah. And Gage is creepy, man.
That kid was good.
I know. He's creepy.
You leave Miko
He's
alone.
I was going to say, he does cons and stuff now.
Yeah. I just thought of Chucky the whole time I'm watching that.
It's
I'm
because
like,
he's little, right?
yeah, and he's got a knife and he's
Yeah.
killing people that shouldn't,
When was the
adults,
book?
full
Let me
grown men. And
The
it's
book
like,
was 83.
So it was
Pet
out there.
Cemetery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
It'd been out there for a while.
So,
Dude, Zelda. Isn't that her name?
with the sister.
The sister.
The sister, how was that?
yeah.
Because that's the creepiest scene, and you're like, this has nothing to do with the movie, but this is fucked up right here.
Yeah. Yeah, I made the mistake of watching these in back to back. I literally either watched them the same day or back to back nights. And dude, I need a break. I need a break from Stephen King.
Oh no! You need to see his movie.
I'm gonna watch it. I'm
That
gonna
one
watch.
is not, it is different.
Do not
It's not gonna,
don't get hopes up for anything good.
Yeah.
But it is his cocaine fueled movie. He's like, all right, so what if there was a movie and a story about everything and it came to life, everything electronic.
I'm not giving up on watching his stuff. I just need a break.
Yeah. And I get it, because there's
what's
a
next?
lot.
What should I?
Oh, Maximum Overdrive.
Other
Yeah,
than
you
that,
can do
Maximum.
that. Stand By Me. Have you seen that before?
I've seen most of that, but
Not horror. I mean, well,
yeah, it's not really
horror, but that's a great.
Have you ever seen The Running Man?
Oh, yeah.
The Running Man is based on. So he not only does he write horror movies, but he's like, you know what? I'm going to write science fiction movies, but I'm going to write it under a different name, and that name is Richard Bachman.
Mm-hmm.
So the Arnold Schwarzenegger
Yeah, I was gonna
sci-fi
say,
movie
isn't that
is based on his story.
that he wrote under a different name?
Yes.
I don't think I've seen that.
So I mean that's a sci-fi twist on that.
But like his classic, like horror
Of
stuff.
classic-
Have you seen The Shining?
I've seen The Shining
Okay.
recently. I saw that
Okay.
Dr.
And
Sleep?
It.
Original It.
original. It now.
So maybe that. Maybe.
Not Dr. Sleep.
I haven't seen that.
Dr. Sleep is like the
It's a
sequel.
it's a sequel to.
It's a fairly new one though, right?
yes.
Yeah.
It stars.
but it's also it's also its
McGregor.
own story. It's
That-
good.
one of his.
Yeah, I enjoy that.
Okay.
Maybe
Creepshow.
Firestarter. Oh, Creepshow.
Creepshow.
There you go.
Creepshow is a
That's
collaboration between Stephen King and George Romero, who made Dawn of the Dead, Night of the Living Dead.
Creepshow. Okay.
Yeah, I think that one's a cool one. He's in it. He's in one of the stories.
I'll have to. I'll.
Yeah.
And
I'll
then at
track
some point
of these
we'll
down.
do Children of the Corn.
Oh, Malachi.
Oh, I need to watch that.
Roscoe likes that one. He's like,
Yeah. At some point
we
we'll
quote
get
it all
there.
the time. Going Malachi. Then there was a whole bunch of TV adaptations of the stories.
Mm-hmm.
So there's The Stand, which is a story about this crazy virus that just appears out of nowhere.
Yeah.
So society kind of collapses, and groups of people kind of start opposing each other. So here's the good group, here's the bad group. So like Las Vegas becomes literal Sin City. And dude, they are interesting. I didn't get into Stephen King, the actual books, until I was in college, because I always thought they would be cheesy, like those cowboy novels, just these throwaway novels. And I read the story called The Gunslinger, and The Gunslinger was amazing. And the movie, and I think I've said this on the podcast, the movie version is nothing like the book. And then, just like Marvel, these stories are connected. So the Crimson King is the bad guy in that, but there's also a connection to it.
Yeah, I saw something about I don't know, I forgot what movies there are, but it's one of the ones I've seen.
A newer one?
No. That they were saying how they don't make the connection. The movies don't make the connection themselves.
But there are connections in his stories, and so if you are a fan, you will catch things
like
in
an
other
Easter
movies.
egg or something where
and
it's like,
if the directors are fans,
they'll do it.
They'll intentionally put stuff in and whatever. So you can.
God, I wish I could remember what it was, because I meant to ask you guys about that if you guys had heard anything.
If it's a connection, probably.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? Here's the next one. This is what you should watch. Salem's Lot. Salem's Lot. It's
older stuff. It's
a TV movie, and
it's good. It's not like but it's also just a different. This is the thing I need you to understand is he's not all Cujo Pet Cemetery. Christine, like we've given you the good horror.
We'll give you the hits. All right.
He has a plethora, as you know, of stories and books, and they are literally all over the place. Like Shawshank Redemption is him. It's based on his story.
I love that movie.
So there are things that are horror, but there's also things that are just intense stories.
He's not always an asshole.
No, and but the man
always no.
But just the sheer amount of output. The man himself says, every day I gotta write, and whether it's good, whether it's bad, he just writes. Like he is that disciplined, where he's like, all right, well now I'm gonna write a story about a cell phone that kills people. All right, cool.
Yeah. Is Secret Window the Johnny Depp one?
Yes.
Yeah. So
Secret Window is.
There's some stuff. That's why I'm like, there's stuff out there that it's good.
Like
it's
not
just different.
staying in that same lane of like.
Yes.
Because even Misery is not really horror.
Exactly.
It's just
it's intense.
It's just intense.
Yeah. That's what I mean. So like you kind of went down the horror kind of for a minute, which is good because I love it.
Yeah.
But he also has a wide range of things.
Lawnmower Man.
Yeah, that's a bizarre.
The Lawnmower Man is one of his science fiction stories.
Yeah.
So he's a very prolific writer, and not every adaptation is going to be good.
True.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, when you do that much stuff, when you put that much stuff out there, not everything's gonna hit.
Exactly.
It's almost like if you keep remaking a movie about a slasher who keeps coming back every Halloween, they're not always going to be good. Or are they? Stevens wanted to watch Halloween Ends. So
I was waiting for it.
She was waiting for it. And
so catch me up, because I recently saw the original.
Yes.
Okay.
I really haven't seen anything after that.
Okay.
And I know they've been coming out like recently.
For years, yeah.
They kind of just keep coming up, and it's the same dude. He just doesn't die. Like, why was? But I noticed people were kind of hyped for this one.
Yes.
Why?
Well, because this last one, Halloween Ends, was billed and marketed as the final confrontation between Laurie Strode and Michael Myers. But here's the thing. Michael Myers and Laurie Strode have had multiple final battles. So original Halloween, 1978, John Carpenter Halloween got a direct sequel. It got a part 2 where we discover that, spoilers, that Laurie Strode and Michael Myers are brother and sister. And so he wants to kill.
And this is Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yes. So Jamie Lee Curtis came back. The director of the first one did not. The Dr. Loomis comes back. Donald Pleasance. And so you have this movie where at the end, Michael Myers gets shot in the eyes. He gets burnt, everything. Cool. And they're like, all right, we've told this story. Halloween 3 is going to be a new story. And people hated it. They lost their minds. They're like, what is this? This is not.
So it's the people's fault.
No. Well,
right? Because
they wanted him back.
Yeah, because they brought him back because of the.
Yeah, that's true.
So the producers, a couple years later, are like, you know what? We got to bring him back. So they made Michael Myers, The Return of Halloween. Laurie Strode isn't in this. He comes back and he discovers that he's got a niece. So it's Laurie Strode's daughter, Jamie Lloyd, and he then he's got it in his mind that he's going to murder her, and he kills a whole bunch of kids. So when this one comes back, it's kind of a really cool sequel, but it's more influenced by the Jason movies, by all these new slashers that came out.
It's more slasher.
Yes. And so they're like, all right, we're going to make another one. So they end up making this trilogy.
Okay.
And so in the second one, the little girl and her adopted sister, they totally nerf them. Like the little girl can't talk anymore because she's so emotional. And they introduce this character, like there's a man in black that's trying to get Michael Myers. And so it's, at the end of the day, it was an okay movie, but it didn't make as much money as part 4. So 6 years later, they sell the rights to a different studio. 6 years later, he comes back with The Curse of Michael Myers. And this movie is batshit crazy.
Yeah.
This movie has Ant-Man in it, Paul Rudd.
Yeah.
Jamie Lloyd has been stolen by this weird cult government organization. And they basically have Michael Myers impregnate her.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
Yeah. So the baby gets out, a girl gets out, and
so
well, he's getting there.
I'm getting there. So this movie is trash, and
then he fights Jason, right? At some point.
No, that's Freddy Krueger.
That's Freddy Krueger.
I wish he did.
The other guy.
I wish he did.
That's the burned hat guy.
So people don't like this one.
Okay.
The producers can't decide how they want to edit it, or like. So there's different cuts of this movie. So then I believe it's H2O. 20 years have passed since the original. They bring her back. They bring
Laurie Strode
back. And Laurie Strode faked her death.
Because they want to make money now, right? Yeah. So you got to go back to the OG.
Faked her death and becomes a principal at a school in California.
It's like a charter private school.
Yes.
Okay.
And
so she's off the grid.
So this trilogy, 4, 5, and 6 are no longer canon. They're like, screw it. These don't exist anymore. And so now it's like, this is the one. And so they have this epic confrontation. 20 years later, they fight. And at the end of this movie, Michael Myers gets killed.
Okay.
And they're like, oh my God, we made a whole bunch of money. Well, he can't be dead.
That shit back.
Laurie Strode murdered some poor guy that was dressed as Michael Myers because she was crazy.
Oh,
and then she's killed in 8. In part 8.
Yeah, somewhere.
And so this is a goofy one but it's goofy, but it's an interesting premise. It's the start of the internet. And so Busta Rhymes, who's in the model, Tyra Banks, What's it called? Sasha Banks, eh? Tyra Banks. They're putting on this like reality show inside Michael Myers' house, and then it just happens that the real Michael Myers shows up and then starts murdering everybody.
Yeah.
Oh, Cool J's in it.
It's like one of those radio things where they're broadcasting or recording or whatever, like they're video recording it or whatever.
And so it's horrible. So after this movie, I believe this is the last like regular Michael Myers movie. They're like, all right, we're going to reboot it. We're going to reboot this movie. You know what? Here's a hot new director, Rob Zombie. Rob Zombie makes his version. People hate it.
Yeah, it was kind of wacky, right?
Yeah.
It's more history story. And at this point, people just want big silent killer, right?
Yeah.
They don't want to know why he does it.
I don't want to know why he's
They're
crazy.
not trying to feel empathy for the dude. They just want
I
big
want to see him
serial
kill people.
killer. Yeah.
Like that's what it's about. So people hate this movie, but guess what? It still made money. So they're like, we're going to make part 2. Rob Zombie comes back, makes part 2. People hate it even more. And in that one, there's a battle, not an epic battle, but a battle between Laurie Strode, Michael Myers, and people die at the end of that one. And so cut to 2018.
Yep.
What's his name? Jason Jude Courtney
Something. Let me look.
is the new director. He teams up with Danny McBride, and they create a new story for Michael Myers. So now it's the 40th anniversary. They want to cash in on this, and they make kind of a decent movie. And so instead of, they go back to the original, 1978. The stuff from part 2 never happened.
David Gordon Green.
I was thinking about him. He's
that's the monster.
That's the shape. So Michael Myers basically, he went to a mental asylum. He's been in there for 40 years. These podcasters, stupid podcasters show up.
Like us.
Yeah. And they provoke him.
Stupid podcast.
They show him the mask. They're like, here's your mask.
Look at what I bought off of eBay.
So how old is this dude supposed to be by now?
Oh, he's 70, bro.
Yeah. Essentially.
It's the same dude.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because
Laurie's
70. He's older.
He's got to be old. Or maybe
He's around same age.
He's 10. Because
10
he was
years older?
Yeah, right. Or 5 years older.
It depends. Yeah, he's a little bit older, but not, I mean, they're in their 70s, man.
So
at this point, maybe 60s, but come on.
Michael Myers returns to Haddonfield. There's a crazy doctor, just like a crazier doctor who wants to make money off of him. Laurie Strode has led this horrible life. She married, had kids, but much like Linda Hamilton in Terminator 2, she's been practicing every single day, training for the day he comes back. He's lost her family because they're like, you are a crazy old lady. He's never coming back. He's in a mental asylum. And guess what?
Her kids get taken away.
Yeah.
Like she's
lived
a life. And this one assumes, the 2018 one assumes the first one exists and no other movie does.
None of the other movies happened.
So not even part 2.
So just the original.
Just the original. And this is a sequel to that.
And so
the 2018 one.
Yes.
So they have an epic battle.
Which is the first of the trilogy of the new ones.
Epic battle. Laurie Strode, Michael Myers. They burn him alive at the end of the movie.
Okay.
The last shot is him going up in flames.
Trapped in a basement.
And this is the 2018 one. You're saying the first of the trilogy.
The first of the new trilogy.
Of the new trilogy.
So the one that you just watched is the third
is
one?
the third one. Mm-hmm.
What was the second one?
Halloween Kills.
Guess what?
What was the name of the one in 2018?
Halloween.
Just Halloween. It's Halloween 2018.
Holy fuck.
Halloween Kills.
Yeah, you can't keep track by the name of the movie. They all kind of what.
So they just spit on the other ones. They're just like, those aren't.
They were like, no, this is sequel
Those never
to
happened.
original. Yep.
Wow.
So forget everything that you've learned and know.
Dude, part 2 is bonkers because
that one I liked. The 2018.
The whole
and
town.
And then part 2 is
the
different.
whole town goes crazy. And at the end of the movie, so the whole movie is them talking about Michael Myers, and Michael Myers is back and he's killing people. And the whole town gets into this frenzy that they murder a man that they think is Michael Myers. And so, but it's not. So after they murder this man, he comes back and he fights the whole town. In the first one, it's just Laurie Strode with traps. It's like a booby trapped house. Part 2, he fights the entire town. There's a lady with a plancha, with an iron.
Okay.
Yes.
So in 2018, they burn him alive.
Yep.
How does he come back?
Because the fire trucks were called. And so they go and their firemen are rescuing or putting out the fire. And the one dude ends up in the basement. So they pull, so he gets killed by Michael Myers because the fire is raging.
He grabs their pickaxe and dude, he starts.
He kills all the firemen.
Yeah. So
and gets out
Haddonfield
of the house.
has no fire department now. That's the first 5 minutes of this movie.
Yeah, that's first 5 minutes.
In this
in
one.
the second one.
In the second one.
Yes.
Okay.
So
they show you how he survived.
Yeah.
Yes.
And is it like cool or is it
it's an amazing 5 minutes.
It's a great scene
I mean,
because
but
you're
it
like,
makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. So they pulled it off.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so that's why he's like half his mask is burnt.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why this one he's burnt. He's all burned up.
Okay.
Yeah. So now Halloween ends. It's been 4 years since that night.
Since the town beat him up and then he killed them all.
Yes.
Since
he just disappeared. He disappears, right?
Since 20.
Yes, because 1 and 2 are the same night.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Right. Because you
literally pick
after
up
the fire.
After the fire, it's the same. It's like the same night or the next one day.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
then so Hollywood ends is 4 years after that.
Yes.
Okay.
4 years.
2022.
I follow. Yeah. Okay.
Laurie Strode has gotten past
They
her
got that
rage.
right.
Yeah, that's what they got right.
She's doing much better.
Okay.
However, her granddaughter.
So is she still thinking that he's dead?
No,
burned alive?
no.
They know he's alive because at the end of Kills, he's killed her daughter.
Oh.
Yeah.
So they know that
he killed he's killed the rest of her family, the rest of the town.
Yeah, he's killed the town and he's killed the daughter. So.
Yeah.
And
not the whole town, but
so
most
she's
of them.
I know, but she's all alone. She has no.
She has her granddaughter.
Okay.
That's it.
Yeah, and so she's doing better, but her granddaughter isn't. And so this movie is essentially 2 movies. In that they introduce a new character,
Okay.
this babysitter that through a freak accident kills a little kid.
Spoilers ahead if you haven't seen this, I suppose.
Listen, you can get it on Peacock.
You can watch it for free.
Yeah. So, dude, and so they set this guy up to be this creepy dude that gets picked on, and so you really feel for him. Like, he does a very good job. He's a very good actor in this movie. So much so that people are harassing him online. They're like, you ruined this franchise, bro. What the hell? And you're like, that's how good of an actor he is.
Yeah.
That people are like, people
Believe
bro.
he's this dude.
Yeah. So eventually, that young man meets Michael Myers in the sewers. Michael Myers now, he's like, he's got no mojo. He's like, I can barely move.
He's 80 years old.
And
Yeah.
bet once he gets that first kill, once he gets that little
Once
blood,
he kills someone, though, he
gets
gets
back.
a little pep in his step.
you know, he took his Viagra. He's ready to go. He's like, ah, cha, cha.
That's his Viagra.
Yes.
Killing people.
Yeah. So then Michael Myers comes back
Okay.
and then he disappears.
Yep.
Yeah. So like,
Wait.
the whole movie is we follow this other kid.
You follow this kid who I think could have been better told if he like emulated Michael Myers for different reasons, but he essentially like finds Michael Myers in the
sewer. He's in the sewers.
And Michael Myers looks into his eyes and like passes the evil to this kid.
He's got
and
the
so
Ghost Rider stare, dude. He's like, oh.
So now the kid goes and kind of terrorizes the people who have been bullying him and stuff.
Oh, and then everybody dies.
So Kid is now
He's the
taking on the
new-
persona.
Yeah.
But
So-
Michael's still
Alive.
he's
like-
alive and following
yeah.
him in the shadows. So like so if Corey goes and
So
like,
they're leaving the option open to still have him show up.
well, no, not the end of the movie.
No,
I mean,
'cause
he'll be back, but the end of the
'Cause
movie is
spoilers.
the end of the movie.
Corey dies. Michael
Everybody
Myers dies.
Yeah.
Whole bunch of people die.
He dies.
No, they kill him. There's no coming back. I mean, they can
No.
bring him back, but there's no coming back from this trilogy.
It won't be this trilogy. It'll like they'll pick it up from
I can tell you.
maybe part 2 that
Spoilers.
becomes a 3.
They put him in a car. What are those?
It's a thresher, like the machine that crushes cars.
Like basically like a meat grinder is what they
Okay,
put
but
him
you
in.
don't see how he escaped.
Oh no. You see him go in the meat grinder. Like
Oh,
there is no.
yes, and there's a scene where
I also thought that Han had died in Tokyo Drift. Come to find out, he didn't.
True.
So-
true.
He blew up in a car.
This is true. Okay, I'll give you that. He'll be back, just not this.
Have you seen? No, hold on. I'm gonna let you finish. Have you seen any of the Fast and Furious movies?
Yes, I've seen through 6 for sure.
1 to 6.
Is Paul Walker so?
My family.
When's the one where I did not see the one before he died and anything
7
after.
is a one where he's already in real life passed away.
Okay, yeah, didn't see that or anything
He's
after.
back in CG form.
Yeah.
Haven't seen since then.
My family.
They talk about him. He's around, but he doesn't really show
Yeah.
up. And then at the end, they do the CG one.
Yeah.
Have you actually seen?
He's never seen any of it.
I've seen the end of it. And
Which one? The first one?
The end of the first one, and it pissed me off that stupid import tuner car can beat the Dutch Charger in a straightaway. Get the heck out of here.
Well, it's because it had NOS.
Even though, but like no, like
You
realistically,
gotta understand the cars are light
my family.
compared to like a Dodge Charger, and
with-
that's why it makes them fast.
With the
they put
supercharged, it's as
but it's so heavy. Did it beat it though?
I forget
I
because
think it's still debatable.
I saw
They
it
don't
like,
really show.
You know what I was like bullshit,
Yeah.
and then I just turned the channel. It wasn't even at the theater. It was just
It was on TV.
I turned and I was like, oh, Fast and Furious. No,
That's all you saw, and then
yeah, and then someone told me like, oh, it's basically the Keanu Reeves movie. I was like, I don't even like that movie with the ex-presidents. Point Break. I was like,
yeah.
Yeah.
I liked Point Break.
Yeah, Point Break's cool. Okay, so I'll let you finish.
All right.
So then, okay, so we gotta talk. I didn't realize you've seen all the Fast and Furious movies. I want to talk to you about them.
But that Han, right? The Han came back.
So
I'm sorry, they took my Han away from me.
yeah, they did.
took him away.
So okay, so in this one, so they're set up. So they actually finished the trilogy
Yes.
with this, but they kind of left it open in case.
No.
They
It's very
finished
So
definitive.
Jamie Lee
trilogy
Curtis is gone.
Is done.
Yeah, she's like, dude, I'm 70 years old. Like, I'm not coming back for this shit.
Just, you can kind of see that.
No, because there's a point where Michael Myers and her fight, but it's like it's a very short fight. So that's what
That's
people
the
are
disappointment.
are disappointed at because you build it up. Imagine like Canelo and the other guy, and they're like, okay, cool, but before that,
We're gonna give you an hour and a half of another movie, and then we'll give you the 5 minutes you want.
Well, it was
at
like the
end.
Mike Tyson fights, right? Like all the cards were like all the fights before
yes, but
the
it
Mike
was
Tyson.
Were the better fights.
But it was the first time the first time Mike Tyson lost, and you're like, what? He's human? Well, how can that be? This is a lot like that. You're disappointed and like you were expecting a Tyson fight.
So Jamie Lee Curtis dies in this,
No.
Jamie Lee Curtis is alive.
She's the survivor.
but she just goes away.
It's implied that she's writing a book, the whole thing. She's going to publish that book and she's going to have a relationship with the sheriff. So she kind of has a happy ending. Corey, that kid, that fool, Laurie, he dresses up. Here's another part of bullshit. He fights with Michael Myers, steals his mask.
Okay.
That's
no, bro.
I'm not stealing
one's
Freddy
stealing.
Krueger's glove. I'm not taking Jason's axe.
Yeah, you're not taking it.
Or machete. Like, no.
He's
why don't
gonna
they
kill you.
Why don't they give him the new look?
So
Because now he's gonna wear the mask.
Yeah.
So he's wearing the mask. He goes around, kills people.
Why?
Laurie Strode shoots this fool point blank in the chest. Boom. Boom.
Right here.
Yeah.
In the heart.
In the heart. And he's like, oh,
And he's still alive.
yeah. And then,
Like Michael Myers would be.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
yeah. So,
And he was just in the movie. He's just some kid.
yeah. So I get that part. So then,
Some 22-year-old.
so then they, he's like, well, you can't, if I can't have your granddaughter, then nobody can. Fool stabs himself in the neck. Like he slits his neck.
With a freaking
Like a Michael Myers
like
knife.
a blade,
Yeah.
not like a just switchblade.
Yeah.
It was a freaking blade.
So he's bleeding out. Granddaughter comes in and Laurie then Strode is like, oh my God. She's all crying. She's all emotional when she just blasted that fool in the chest point blank. And then Michael Myers comes in to pick up his mask, cracks that guy's neck open.
because he's still
Or not
alive.
neck.
Because he grabs like Michael's leg. And you're like, bro, you just stabbed yourself in the neck.
You
You're
are
not
dead.
alive. Like, come on.
Yes. So then there's that battle.
It's not even a battle though. It's like it's 3 minutes in the kitchen, and she gets him pinned on the counter, and then she kills him.
It impales him like stabs
Christ.
knives through his hands. The granddaughter comes in and like sticks him like he's a pig. Laurie Strode slits his neck, and so the whole kitchen floor is just Michael Myers' blood. And then they're like, all right, well, he's still gonna come back. And so they take the body and they have this parade. The whole town is like, fuck
They
you,
put him
Michael
on.
Myers.
They tie him to the top of a car, and they parade him in through the town. And they go to the junkyard thing where they put him in the the
so
meat
you see him,
grinder.
you see them throw the body, and the body's just
So he is gone.
that. Michael Myers is
That
done.
Michael Myers is gone.
I mean, if it's really him.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
So we've had that fake out.
Right.
We've had that fake out.
So they won't do it.
But they take off his mask, and it's the burnt Michael Myers. So it is the one we saw.
it's the Michael Myers from those 3 movies at least.
So
Unless it's not.
listen, in 5 years, no, here
I don't think any
in
of
5
these guys will be
they
back.
can't just keep. It can't just always be from 78. So they're going to update it again.
They can tell another Michael Myers story. Or you had a great idea, Abarca.
But yes, I
Call him up. Get who is this? Who makes these?
David Gordon Green.
David Gordon Green,
Universal,
David Gordon?
Paramount. Who is
Oh,
it?
these
Warner
are-
Brothers?
Blumhouse, Jason Blum.
Yeah.
Call him up. Get
A
him on the
television show, an anthology series where they follow different killers, every town has some sort of Michael
Well,
Myers.
because the movies only followed this guy on Halloween. There's 364 more days of the year.
Also,
Who was he killing
All
during
these
all
movies
that
take
time?
place during the
Halloween.
Halloween.
On
Yeah.
Halloween night, yeah.
Hence the name.
Or 2
Halloween.
days before and then up to or
checks
whatever.
out. Checks
Yeah.
out.
So, like, what is he doing the rest of the year?
Yeah. Hanging in sewers with the It Clown.
Let's follow him around. Like, let's see what happens.
Exactly. So, it's not a good movie. It's not the worst of the Halloween movies, sadly.
No.
That's kind of what I've heard is people dig it. Not completely, but it's not.
I liked it.
and not
There
horrible.
are parts that could be improved. It was a letdown.
Okay.
Because I expected I
Yeah.
expected more than 2018. If that had been the end of this one,
You're like, hell yeah, you
I
got
would've been
burned
like-
alive.
yeah, I would've
And then
been
you show the
'cause
house
she
burnt.
wins through all these things, and this one's not really about her. Like,
Right.
And
This was
that's the character
This
I'm
was truly
invested
not
in.
about him.
yeah,
It's
Right.
this Corey kid. And I get it. If you're setting this up, he's now Corey is the new Michael Myers.
Yeah.
Because there's one of the Jason movies where Jason Jason goes to hell. He passes his energy into different people. And so other people become Jason Voorhees.
Yeah.
And so it could have been something like that. But you know what this movie needed? It needed some dude that kicks ass and maybe has a little group of friends to battle Michael Myers.
maybe some zombies.
Maybe you can fight some zombies, So, folks, this episode is the first episode where we're splitting things up. So, at some point, right above our faces is going to be a card. You can click on that one to go to the next part of this episode. Hit the like button, ring the bell for notifications, and subscribe. And we'll be right back if you're listening to us on audio.